Hello, study buddies, and welcome to a mini series that I made inspired by Sketchy, where I try to make the pharma drugs easier and to memorize. خلوا معاكم السلايدز عشان في حال قلت شيء غلط تصلحون لي in general تتبعون معاي. So we're going to be starting with ibuprofen because I really wanted to draw ibuprofen first. So let's start. Let's just agree on a few things. If you see firefighter hats like these, this means that it is anti-inflammatory. If you see winter clothes like these, this is antipyretic. And pink hair is an indication for peptic ulcers, and yellow hair is the indication of jaundice. These are all as side effects. Okay, let's get started. So, ibuprofen. First, we know that ibuprofen is an inhibitor for both COX-2 and COX-1. It is anti-inflammatory, as indicated by the firefighter hat, and also it relieves mild to moderate pain. It's used to treat, I didn't know how to add this, but dysmenorrhea, which is pain during menstruation, and also gout. Chronic use of ibuprofen, as we know, has adverse effects such as you can see, pink hair, peptic ulcers. So therefore, when it must be administered after a meal to prevent the development of peptic ulcers. And we can also use H2 receptor antagonists. If you remember from the lecture, their names were ranitidine, and they are represented by sports shoes عشان يعني ran عشان تربطونها شوي. Ranitidine. And so what is ranitidine? Ranitidine is an H2 receptor antagonist. And to memorize this H2, we got two shoes, and they're running shoes, so ranitidine, H2. Now, something you've probably noticed is this is the NSAIDS fire department. So they need, to put out fires. They have this huge hose. This hose is representing patent ductus arteriosus. And in general, in this picture, any character you see holding this duct is used to treat patent ductus arteriosus. Okay, so which ones are these? We have ibuprofen, we have indomethacin, and aspirin. These are the three characters holding this duct. Okay, now onto indomethacin. As you can see, she's not wearing her firefighter uniform, and that's because she is the big boss here. Indomethacin is only used in limited cases because of the severe side effects. As you can see, she's a bit grumpy. So severe side effects, and they're only used in limited cases, and these cases are when they are severe, such as rheumatoid arthritis and gouty arthritis. And she's got a star, a badge of honor, and that is because indomethacin is the most powerful NSAID used to close patent ductus arteriosus after birth, because we need to close it after birth. So, silly coxib. Celecoxib is a COX-2 inhibitor, and we know that COX-2 is responsible for production of prostacyclin, and because of that, celecoxib decreases prostacyclin, which will decrease bleeding time. We know that COX-2 is the main mediator of inflammation, and that's why celecoxib is anti-inflammatory. We agreed that pink hair is an indication of peptic ulcers, but as you can see, celecoxib only has her tips dyed pink. That's why celecoxib has less peptic ulcer effects compared to, okay, for slides might be comparison, but it does say that there is less peptic ulcers. As you can see, she's got twin tails, so two ponytails. This is because celecoxib is taken twice daily. And as we can see on her stockings, celecoxib is used to treat rheumatoid arthritis, and also, you can see it breaking off over here, osteoarthritis. I'll be going on to aspirin to explain something and wait. Something else to know about celecoxib are the adverse side effects. So, as you can see, here's the duct. She's not doing her work. She's a bit slacking off, as you can see here. So she's slacking off. She's on her phone. That's why she got a warning. لأنها ترفع الضغط في الشغل. So this is the black box warning. And I said إنها ترفع الضغط. So there is an increase for myocardial infarction and stroke. Myocardial infarction, stroke, ترفع الضغط, also you can say leads to hypertension, كل الأشياء اللي يعني الضغط مرفوع تربطينا فيه. And let's sneak in here, edema. It also could cause kidney dysfunction. I tried to add a kidney here, but it doesn't really show. But you should know that it's very important. It causes kidney dysfunction. And something you need to know is that it has less side effects for patients with asthma, because you can see here, we got the prostaglandins. All NSAIDs don't like prostaglandins, but she's secretly texting prostaglandin, meaning that because only COX-2 is inhibited, COX-1 is still activated. Because it's still activated, it still converts arachidonic acid into prostaglandins. This is what we have for celecoxib. Now moving on to aspirin. To be honest, I didn't add a lot because there's a lot of information about aspirin you can go back to. But زي ما كان يقول الدكتور فاضل, COX-2 كبير for a reason, COX-1 صغير هنا for a reason. You need a higher dose to inhibit COX-2, whereas a lower dose to inhibit COX-1. Now, in comparison with celecoxib, we said, let's go back to the first picture. So as you can see, they both here have belts. But one thing that stands out is that celecoxib has this inhaler, so it's better with patients who have asthma, and aspirin, however, should not be given to patients who have asthma, because as you can see, there's no inhaler. Generally, aspirin is anti-inflammatory, and but it's not commonly used as an anti-inflammatory agent, as indicated that she, unlike celecoxib and ibuprofen, is not wearing her firefighter uniform. Oh, it's also antipyretic, but I forgot to add winter clothes, but put that in mind. It is antipyretic, but also it's not commonly used because acetaminophen over here, the cozy girl over there, is more safe in children. And as you can see, these plates on the ground, they're all broken. It is an anti-platelet aggregation mediator. And as you can see, oops, not again. So this isn't a rare occurrence. It's normal. She always does this. So that's why antiplatelet aggregation is the most common clinical indication of aspirin. Keep that in mind, okay? Okay. I'm going over the mechanism of actions because I'll get back to them right at the end. Something you need to know about aspirin is also, hold on, give me the adverse effects. So as you can see from her clothes, they're a mess. We know that red usually represents acids and blue represents base, and the colors are all splashing together. That's because aspirin disrupts acid, base, and electrolyte balance. Okay. Something else I'm sure you noticed. Pink hair, what does that mean? Peptic ulcers. Oh my god, I also forgot something. I will fix this drawing and be back because we said that peptic ulcers can be prevented using ranitidine, and I think I need to change those shoes over there to ranitidine. Yeah. And because peptic ulcers, so this is related to peptic ulcers more than the drugs themselves. But before taking drugs that cause peptic ulcers, so basically we can say before giving our pink-haired girls over here, we need to make sure that we administer them with ranitidine, fluid, lots of fluid, and after a meal. Okay, remember these three that are for peptic ulcers. Okay. Also, you can see that she's holding the duct, so aspirin can contribute to closing the ductus arteriosus. And something about aspirin is, okay, she is clumsy, as we can see. Look at the broken plates. So she's clumsy, she's nervous, she's not good with children. So you shouldn't administer aspirin to children who are below 16. Oops, wrong sign. Who are below 16 years old, because that could lead to Reye's syndrome. And to revise, Reye's syndrome is characterized by swelling of the liver, fatty liver failure, cerebral edema, and could lead to coma and death. Okay, last on the list, we have acetaminophen. So, in general, we said this before, look at those winter clothes, antipyretic activity. And it's used as an analgesic to relieve headache and dysmenorrhea. But as you can see, acetaminophen is on parole and not part of the NSAIDS fire department, because acetaminophen, paracetamol, is not really considered an NSAID, as it's not as efficient in relieving pain. There is no firefighter hat, so it's not anti-inflammatory, not breaking any plates, so it's not anti-platelet aggregation. Okay. Now, so with these gloves, these goggles, you can say that she's very cautious and safe. So unlike over here, aspirin, who has has her legs showing, so acetaminophen is extremely more safe than aspirin. No pink hair, so there is no peptic ulcers, no hematological effects, and no risk of bronchospasm, unlike aspirin. Look at her belt here without the inhaler. So no risk of bronchospasm, and also no risk of development of Reyer's syndrome. So she's good with kids. But long-term use is threatening, as it can cause hepatotoxicity, and you must avoid alcohol, because alcohol increases the incidence of acetaminophen hepatotoxicity. So how does this toxicity occur? It's when we have high hepatotoxicity. We take like over 16 tablets of acetaminophen. This depletes something called glucuronic acid, and we have something called cytochrome P2E1. This cytochrome P2E1 will convert acetaminophen into reactive electrophilic compound. Now, this is why she's here in the fire department doing some community service, because the reactive electrophilic compound is her juvenile past, it is this reactive electrophilic compound. Her criminal past is removed by gluco. 1 second. By glutathione, and it removes this reactive electrophilic compound. This is why it's represented by a ball and chain, because it holds the criminals in place, so you could say. And the symptoms of hepatotoxicity show after 24 hours. So like a day passes, 24 hours, and it has severe symptoms. The symptoms show after 24 hours, and these include, as we said before, jaundice, hepatotoxicity, something to note, nausea and vomiting, anorexia, and abdominal pain. Okay? So, if you want a way to remember cytochrome P2E1, so cytochrome P2E1 is very bad. It's the one that gives us the reactive electrophilic compound. And we know that alcohol is the one that increases incidence of hepatotoxicity. So the drinking age, the drinking age is 21. So cytochrome P2E1, kind of like 21. Okay, this is the way to like remember it. And to remove the toxicity of acetaminophen, we can either use we have 3 methods, either supportive therapy, or you remove the drug promptly after 4 hours. So 4-hour shift and she's gone. You can use this using either activated charcoal or gastric lavage. These are just drawings to help you remember, but hopefully you can remember them easily. Or you can use acetylcysteine as an antidote. So this is like their police department, acetylcysteine. And acetylcysteine is a precursor of glutathione, which both capture the reactive acetaminophen and get rid of it, basically. They antioxidize it. Now for administration, a way to remember these is that the ones with the I are administered IV, and A, so aspirin, acetaminophen, A, you open your mouth, these are orally, but also acetaminophen is rectally. Sorry, I don't know how to tie this into it. Okay, so as for their mechanisms of action, we said before, aspirin is a very nervous person. كل حاجة تسويها تشوفها oh my god طامة كبيرة. It can't be reversible. So just know that it irreversibly inhibits the COX1 and COX2. Whereas these two, they're more competent in their work, so they can undo it. They are reversible. And acetaminophen over here, she's like the opposite. She's chill, so she's also reversible. Something to note about acetaminophen. So it reversibly inhibits COX1. It reversibly inhibits COX1. And because it has no anti-inflammatory, no hat, you can't see it over here, so it does not inhibit COX2. And that's why we don't really consider it an NSAID, because it doesn't have anti-inflammatory effects. And if you go back to her hair, so yes, it's yellow, but also عندها فرقة بالنص. That's because it acts centrally. I hope I covered everything in NSAIDs. If I didn't, feel free to download the image yourself and add whatever notes you have. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. One last thing that I forgot to mention is that ibuprofen over here, our girl, is more tolerated than aspirin and indomethacin. So why is that? Just to عشان تربطينا, like she's happy, she's excited, she's fun to be around. Indomethacin does not look fun to be around, and aspirin is pretty tiring to be around, so ibuprofen is more tolerated than the two.